and gentlemen, cats and kittens, children of all ages. Welcome to this week's episode of Articulate Thoughts, which is a personal blog of mine where I share some thoughts, ideas, experiences, and observations about conscious dance, which is a movement practice that uses dance as a form of moving meditation, or as Gabrielle Roth put it, movement as spiritual practice. And today, the topic of discussion is suffer less. And this one popped up because I woke up this morning and this is what's going on in the 2nd of October in Calgary. Dropping some snow, which is a little bit unusual for the past few years, I guess. But a lot of people's natural reactions like, "Oh, I hate snow. Why?" Da, 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 da. And then just like they go with this path of like suffering or just like a natural inclination to think that it's a bad thing. Personally, I like snow. I know I grew up in Canada and it's a very natural thing for me. So to just kind of look at it like, oh, it's snowing, it's snow season, and Mother Nature just feels like dropping snow on 2nd of October. It's not that much of a big a deal for me. Um, but you know, I am a person that is very susceptible to other people's influences, and when people are in a state of suffering, I tend to get pulled into that. I'm very empathetic, and you know, kind of share their feelings very easily. And even though I'm personally okay with it, you know, I'll just I'm a very agreeable person as well, which is something I'm trying to, or correction. I'm in the process of changing. Um, but so if people say they don't like snow, then I don't like snow because I want to be agreeable and I don't want to create some kind of friction. Most of the time, anyways. That is getting better though. But you might be wondering how is this all related to conscious dance and movement? Well, I'll tell you right now. The whole thing of being on a dance floor is there's gonna be moments in a dance, every single dance. There's gonna be moments of uncomfortability, and uncomfortability is a form of suffering. There's just like something unfamiliar, or sort of something that's not preferred. I'll be in the middle of the dance and maybe I don't like the song that's being played, or I'm getting tired, or I'm getting distracted because there's an attractive person in the room, or I'm getting distracted because I'm getting hungry, and I'm thinking about other things that happen in the day that I'm upset about, and just kind of my head's kind of taken over, and you know the whole practice is about being in the body and focusing the attention and awareness in the body and just being aware of what is the body feeling and what is that feeling communicating, because that there is a form of a line of communication that is being there's like a flow of communication that kind of comes from an internal aspect or the subconscious aspect into the conscious aspect. And this is not just exclusive to conscious dance movement practice. It's actually very present in anything that's difficult that is done on a regular basis, which is why things like yoga or lifting or running is really, they offers very, very similar benefits. I particularly like dance because, it's something that's very natural to me, and it's something that's done in a group setting. So very similar to yoga as well, where you're kind of in a room with this people that are like-minded, have similar interests, similar skill levels, and um, everyone's kind of investing the same amount of time and effort to improve themselves, and that's something very um, connecting about that. There's a sense of community that's built around that. And again, there's things in like like groups that go running or martial arts clubs and things like this that also offer similar benefits. But dance is just my chosen path and what's calling to me and what resonates the most. But I feel like it's really important to make this point of using the conscious dance in this way because a lot of people will kind of use the dance as a form of bringing themselves to a level of ecstatic bliss, and that's great because feeling good is very, very important. And dance is an amazingly effective tool to feel good. However, there is shadow aspects to everything. There's the yin and yang, light and dark, hot and cold to every aspect. And when that uncomfortable moment in the dance does come up, because it eventually will, every single dance there is that moment, is how is that individual going to handle that situation. And the more that's practiced on a regular basis, it becomes the body and the mind creates a habit of, when this unfamiliar, uncomfortable feeling comes up, this is how it's going to be dealt with, or it's going to be okay because I've experienced it before and I faced it, I sat with it and just kind of danced through it, or I sat through it, or I thought through it, or whatever you that individual chooses to do to deal with that uncomfortable feeling. And then it's a training ground. So when I wake up in the morning and I look out at the window and feel uncomfortable about this snow, then it's no big deal because I've felt that uncomfortability before and I know that it's not the end of the world. It's not something that I'm going to run away from or just, freeze up and just pause or try to fight it. Just let it be, just let it flow. And yeah, it's 5 minutes to learn and a lifetime to master, which is why it is a good idea to do it on a regular basis and a consistent basis, and to put that consistent, persistent effort into doing it with the intention of building this um, ability or this habit to a level of unconscious competence. So when that feeling does arise, there's no thinking involved. It's just an automatic reflex that is already built in the subconscious. So, and then I want to throw in just this quote that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. And the movement practice, or any kind of practice that allows you to confront that uncomfortable suffering on a regular basis, that is something that can be done to, neutralize and minimize the suffering. So just the pain that's acknowledged and experienced, but doesn't have to be stretched out to a state of suffering. So that's my take on today, and I hope it was useful for you. Today there's two dances going on. There is the meditation moves happening at the Central United Church at 7 p.m. and there's also the dance temple hosted by Inner Journeys at W&M Studios. So you got two options to go dance there. Highly encourage you to get out there in the snow, make the journey, and just kind of confront it on the dance floor and work it out, and hopefully have some fun. Sweat a little bit, and hopefully connect with some other people. If not, connect with yourself. All right. Well, thank you very much for listening, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Inshallah, see you on the dance floor.